The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.
We're so honored to have on the show an incredible singer, songwriter, entertainer. You know him from his incredible hit, Spirit in the Sky, Norman Greenbaum. Norman, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know, I feel like I know you forever because every time I hear the song and the video and everything else, it's like, talk about a song that has become a life of its own.
It has. It just keeps going. Who knew? We knew it was a good song when we finished recording. And when it became a hit, of course, it was my first major hit.
Yeah.
I had had a little small one before that.
Yes, you did.
When I was doing
the eggplant that ate Chicago.
Of all things, the eggplant that ate Chicago.
Which is a name I will never forget.
Yeah, and I still make jokes about it when we go shopping. And, you know, that's the one.
The eggplant right there.
Don't leave that one alone.
But, you know, I got to bring this up also, Norman, with Spirit in the Sky. You know, you talk about a song, it came out in 1969, so 55-year anniversary right now. But not only was it a #1 in the United States, it was a #1 internationally.
It was, and that was great. And, you know, it was, you know, as a musician, it's what you dream of.
Right.
You know, along the line, your garage band. Someone sees you do an open mic, you find a manager and all that. You get a record contract. Yeah. And that's the way I did it.
Well, you know,
that.
but the song to me is so interesting. And certainly as you know, being a musician and everything, with coming up with Southern blues and also with folk and music that you were drawn to, but the song started out acoustic. And so I'm listening to the song coming into the studio today, and I'm thinking about you, and it's like got that heavy distorted guitar. But when you wrote it, you wrote this song on an acoustic guitar, and it was totally acoustic until you started working with Eric Jacobson, right?
Well, I recorded it at home so he could hear it right away and listen to it before we went into the studio. But it was always meant to be what it turned out to be.
Right.
When I wrote it, and I did go through some changes going, you know, I had the words, I had the music, but they weren't together. And I'm going through all the little riffs I had come up with over the years that I'd never used. And I finally says, this is the one.
Right.
And it was the one.
Well, and I've got to ask you too, once again, digging into this, Norman, how Porter Wagner, you know, helped motivate you to do Spirit in the Sky.
He was part of it, yeah. I always liked him. And, you know, he used to wear the suits from Nudies.
Oh, yeah.
I lived in Hollywood at that time. So everybody knew Nudies. And I go, God, you know, it's wearing Nudies.
The best shirts.
Yeah,
and jackets and pants.
Yeah, outfits. And, but his show was syndicated. And so I had seen it a number of times. And he always did a gospel song.
Yeah.
Halfway through, I go, well, you know, I can do that. The little ego of it. I can do that. And so I started to listen to other gospel stuff. And of course, Spirit in the Sky had always been around for American Indians, believing in that. And so all these things came together. And finally, I put it to the music it turned out to be.
Right.
I had a guitar with a special fuzz box built into it.
Sounds so good. As soon as you hear that guitar lick, I know it's you. You know, just with that unique fuzz tone and that riff. And I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's one of the 5 top most recognizable guitar riffs in history.
I can name that song in one note. And people have.
Yeah, I think I could.
Yeah. One of the other interesting things about it is it's a little quirky because I hold it out longer than people are playing blues.
Right.
And when it just starts with that fuzz box, It is unforgettable.
And now you're in development to actually create that effect also, because
Well,
the original one is gone, lost in time.
It's gone, and the person that had invented it is gone. I've been looking for him for years. He just decided to despair.
Yeah.
It wasn't working for him to be in a band, and he was in my band, but for a time, and actually did record a couple songs with us.
Yeah.
But so no one can do it, and they don't make the parts anymore as everything has gone digital. So we've gone through lots of people that make fuzz boxes, but it just isn't the same.
Yeah.
And I think some of it has to do just with the recording studio and our producer, Eric Jacobson, who just it was a simple setup. There were no gizmo tricks other than the fuzz box, but it really wasn't a trick.
Right. Well, and also the incredible backup vocals also with the Stovall sisters out of Oakland. You know, I mean, what great voices. When you listen to the song, that pops out to me also.
Oh, it does. And we were so glad to have them. And and the clapping, and you know, we had some overdubs.
Well, I've got to bring this up too, Norman, to where obviously your song has been used in so many, you know, TV shows, films, and everything. Also, it's a hit with funerals, which I didn't know until I read that.
It is.
But Apollo 13, how much did that jar you when you heard your song and your voice in Apollo 13?
Well, that was killer for me. There's the floating there and going, wow.
Right.
But see, the first wow didn't even come out of my mouth. Wow. And it was terrific.
Right.
And some, you know, future commercials that came out.
That are even new ones coming out now.
They keep coming out, which is wonderful.
Yeah, like hypothetically Toyota and other companies.
We have one coming out just right now with Toyota, but one in the past. Well, it was on one of the Super Bowls with Audi,
Right.
but one before that was Tiger Woods hitting a golf ball
I remember that.
off the moon.
Yep.
And
What a
they
great
played
spot.
the song. So,
Well, and also, you know, I got to brag on you, Norman. You were Americana before Americana was Americana. You know, and now you've been a part of this festival. It's like, but you were kind of groundbreaking at the time when you came out with this in the late 60s. And it's like, and you got out of music for a little while, but then came back to it. You're back touring now, you're working on new music, but how does it feel to be like one of the godfathers of Americana?
well, I don't like to take credit for things like some people. And this kind of disappeared for a long time. But it came out in '72, and you know, I had a couple flops. So I go, you know.
You also had a number of hits. I mean, you know, you're not just a one-hit wonder.
I had 3 songs on the charts, plus the Eggplant at Chicago, so that's 4. But I didn't mind changing my direction.
Right.
And I thought that I had, you know, come a long way after the Eggplant at Chicago. And we were very young, and basically we hardly knew what we were doing, except we were such an oddball act. At the time, it was easy to get discovered and signed. I mean, we wore funny clothes and painted our faces long before Kiss. And here we were.
The whole band had a great look and sound.
We had a good look. And, but I reached a point where I thought, you know, I want to progress.
Right.
And at that time in Hollywood, everybody was trying to make it and living in Laurel Canyon. And I knew a bunch of them that I basically grew up with, but as an adult. And everybody, gee whiz, the Eagles and, you know, Joni Mitchell and Jackson
What a great
Browne.
time to be there.
We were all trying to make it. And most of us, well, a lot of us did.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful time, too.
Well, we were talking too before we started the interview, Norman, to where even a band like the Kentucky Headhunters, you know, do your song, you know, remake Spirit in the Sky, and then you get to come up on stage at the Americana Fest and perform at the Ryman.
That was real fun. But the song itself, was #1 in England and Europe 2 more times.
Yeah.
So it's been #1 over there 3 times, and that's pretty nice.
And it keeps coming back out. And so, but also, once again, with the tour, with everything that you're doing with your band, you're going to be creating some new music now. You've been working on songs. You're always creating.
I am, and we've been performing for 10 years, in California, but not nationally.
Right.
But so I decided, I could go back, and instead of trying to be like a heavy metal band or something like that, I'm going to go back to my roots now that I know more of what I've learned along the way. And Eric Jacobson, the producer. Now, he was such a great guy. Well, he still is. He's still with us. And we've been friends this whole time, which is nice, too.
Yeah.
And so we decided, hey, let's go for it. And we got some really good musicians. No one used the word Americana. It hadn't made it. It wasn't time.
No.
But it's got some great songs in it, and I'm still pushing it. I've got it to be re-released, and
Definitely. And great artwork too.
We have fun playing the songs on it when we do our shows.
Definitely.
Yeah, but
also you have to do that.
You have
to do the eggplant song though too, right?
Well,
you got to bring that out.
We really don't.
What a great name for a band, also though. Dr. West Medicine Show and Junk Band.
That was that name. Well, the percussionist really wasn't. He goes, I can bang on things.
Right.
And we were interesting. We had a washed-up bass. And I grew up with jug bands back east and listened to a lot of them, bought a lot of those records. And I liked playing the kazoo. Now, it never got on that record, but one of the greatest things I thought I did was do 2 cover versions with kazoo, with the whole band doing kazoo, no vocals. And one was Last Train to Clarksville.
Yeah.
And that did not get on a record, but what was the other one? Eleanor Rigby.
Ah, nice little Beatles song.
So we did Eleanor Rigby with all 4 of us playing kazoos.
So it was a kazoo quartet.
Yeah, no, we did some kazoo. This is a good one. Kazoo overdubs. Always makes me laugh. And it got on one of the albums. We were having fun.
Totally. Well, and also, you even have your own guitar strings now.
I do. I have a very good friend who's local where we live in Northern California, and he owns Black Diamond Strings. And so we get together and do things together. And so we've put out my strings. It's available at spiritofsky.com, and that's my website. We also are doing a podcast now.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
And it pairs well with coffee.
Norman in the morning. Norman with, she knows. She made it up. She always says it better. Coffee in the morning with Norm, and my wife and I do it. And we go over my songs, and so that's going to take a while because I got many.
Yes, you do.
And we talk about, who was on them and how it came about and why I wrote that song. One of the most interesting ones is, which was the follow-up to Spirit in the Sky, and that was called Canned Ham.
Yes, I was going to bring that one up.
That was, but
yeah, which around the time of Canned Heat, also a pretty,
Well, it had, I could make it short. My ex-wife, we were shopping, and someone in front of us, of course, the last thing the lady put on the, a 5-pound canned ham. I don't know, I just looked at her and I said, when are you going to buy me a canned ham? And then my mind goes, oh boy.
There's a song.
There's something. And so I went home and worked on it, and
Yeah.
we did Can't Him. And then we brought back the Stovall sisters, and I've kept friends with them over the years.
Right.
Nice girls, ladies, women. And we had a good time for recording it. Didn't do as well as Spirit in the Sky, but it has a great story. And sometimes when we play now, we bring 1 pound canned hams, autographed,
Yeah.
and give them out.
That is
Give out a
incredible.
few. So that's always fun, and it's something, you know, the lucky ones that can get, because you can't bring that many.
Yeah, it's canned ham.
A canned ham. About 5 pounds is too much.
Oh my goodness! Well, I can't wait to hear the new songs you're working on. Also, do you think those will be released within the next year?
I'm working on it, and I don't want to. I'd like to keep it a surprise. It's a little different, longer songs, catchy.
More kazoo.
No more kazoo.
You
No more
always need
kazoo.
more kazoo. It's like cowbell. You can't have enough.
Can't have enough cowbell. One of my friends is Lester Chambers from the Chambers Brothers, and of course, they had a big song back then. We were all trying to make it called "The Time Has Come Today," and a lot of cowbell in that. And he still performs, so he's a very good friend up where we live. And
Amazing. Well, I want to make sure for our viewers, with everything that you've got going on, with the guitar strings, with the songs, with the album coming back out, I know you're with Concord Publishing now in Nashville.
We are, and we're also doing our podcast, as I said.
So they need to go to your website and go to your YouTube channel.
Well, no, just go. If a person goes to YouTube and does a click on podcasts and writes in Norman Greenbaum Music, all one word, it'll take you to it. We started it out, I mean, we were really rookies, you know, had no idea what we were doing. And, but we've just got a new producer director.
Great.
So it's got much better, and will get much better in the future. We've learned how to edit.
Nice, yeah, it's a good skill.
Yeah, and so we work on that, and we travel around when we can. We come here every year, and we started actually before we changed over to Concord.
Ah,
So this is our 6th time here.
excellent.
And we've made friends and love coming back. And so it's a pleasure to be here. And we love meeting up with the people and some new ones.
And your fans.
And my fans.
So many fans of the song.
Well, last year we had the opportunity to sing Spirit in the Sky at Robert's Western World.
Oh my gosh. Great location for music here in Nashville.
Well, I didn't know,
favorite.
you know, the history of the place. And when I started to tell people, they go, "Did you eat their bologna sandwich?"
That's what they're known for.
Who eats bologna sandwiches?
Yeah. It's a niche.
And so that was kind of cool. It was so crowded.
Yeah.
We could really, I had to be pushed on stage just about. And Benita,
Adoring fans.
And then another girl came up. She was very good.
Well, I'll tell you what, be sure and
Yeah.
check out everything that Norman's doing. You know, you've got your website, you've got your podcast, you have guitar strings, new music coming out, and also previously music that was unreleased now back out on CD. I think it needs to be on vinyl too, Norman.
That would be nice, because the insert in the middle is real good.
A lot of great photos and
Photos
cartoons.
and art and cartoons and stuff. Yeah, it was a nice package. I loved being with Warner Brothers labels. They always did me good, and they put out nice covers and inserts. And so it's a really good package. I'm really proud of it.
You should be.
Yeah, it was a great production. And you know, on a couple of the songs, we went back to the jug band days, and we got the famous washed up bass player who had played with the Jim Kweskin jug band, who, you know, they're quite well known over the years.
Definitely.
And I had known them from Boston area. And so he had moved to Hollywood himself, Fritz Richmond. And so we got him to play washed-up bass on a few songs. And we had Ry Cooder and a lot of, some other well-known people. And we did not use drums or junk.
There you go. Yeah.
But recording the washed-up, that was something, because
Definitely.
if you try it, guys, not easy.
Not easy. Well, I'll tell you what, be sure and go to his website, check him out with the new podcast and everything. And also, Norman Greenbaum, Spirit in the Sky. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.